My name's Adriana Dolgetta, and I graduated from Boston College Law School in 2010. I work at the State Department, and I'm a foreign affairs officer with them, working on Afghanistan and Pakistan, rule of law, and counter-narcotics programs.
My name is Vlad Perju. I am an associate professor at Boston College Law School and director of the Klaus Center for the Study of Constitutional Democracy. My areas of expertise are European Union law and comparative constitutional law. I grew up in Romania. I was 12 years old when communism fell. So it was an enormously interesting time. But you know the saying, the curse, may you live in interesting times.
I grew up in the suburbs of New York, Westchester County, Hartsdale. Went to a school called Woodlands High School. I went to Harvard University for my undergrad. I started to consider law school probably near the end of undergrad, so maybe in my senior year. I took a class called Personal Choice and Global Transformation, classic liberal arts class. And I remember that the reason I loved it is because they brought in a different lecturer every week. And there was this woman from Nepal. She was a human rights worker. I started thinking about the different ways I could pursue human rights, which is such an amorphous idea. I was especially interested in the lawyerly side and the advocacy side, and I thought, well, law school would actually be a really good base for both of those options.
I believe I first met Adriana before she enrolled in one of my courses. She was an extraordinary student. Having her in that class was an enormous joy for me in terms of the intellectual discussions that we had, and you know, she wasn't the only great student there, but certainly she was one of the students who carried the course and carried me with her in a way.
I think when I first saw Vlad, I thought he was a student. I'm pretty sure I probably said hi to him before I even knew who he was, because he's really friendly. He was just walking by, gave him one of these. He has that international perspective that really called to me. I think there was a reason that I kept going to his classes or kept talking to him when I needed advice.
As Adriana was trying to figure out what she wanted to do with her life after law school, so I remember her fretting about this question in her very passionate way, and eventually deciding that perhaps the best opportunity would be one that would take her in the direction of public service and global engagement.
After I got the Presidential Management Fellowship, I had options at the State Department, more than one that I'd been considering. And I remember I kind of narrowed it down to two, and then I went in and talked to Vlad, and I made him basically listen to me discuss the merits of each for probably an hour. And you know what? Bless him for listening to me for that long. He was so helpful in kind of talking about what this would actually mean for you when you first start working, but also think about your career as a lawyer writ large. What would this mean 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Where do you want to be? Which of these options makes you excited?
BC is at a very interesting period in its development, because this is a time when we are putting together a way of becoming more globally engaged with a larger world and of devising the right strategies for doing so.
I think Boston College definitely gave me some opportunities for actual international experience that I wouldn't have had elsewhere, especially, for example, the London program. I mean, it absolutely cemented my desire to kind of work in human rights as it pertained to law. Since I graduated, especially working at a very global place like the State Department, my work has taken me to Kabul and two other provinces in Afghanistan, Vienna for some UN meetings, Rome to visit an international organization, New Zealand for 4 months on a really awesome rotation. It's been unbelievable. I have no idea who I'm going to be or what I'm going to be doing in 5 or 10 years. I'm just open-minded about it. I could see myself doing a lot of different things. I could go to a different agency. I could go outside of government. I think the options are pretty endless.
In terms of where Adriana will be in 5 years from now, I believe that the only limits are the limits of her imagination. I am as confident today as I was when I read her first exam, that she will do extremely well. At the same time, I very much hope that she will make wise choices. She has an enormous amount of talent. She has unique things to do and say about the world, and I hope she will find the right venue to do them.